This is episode 33. My name is Mandy, and today we are speaking with Nick Hebb, Program Director at SMARTNet Alliance. Nick is an experienced and passionate changemaker who has been working for the past several years with nonprofit and community-based organizations to help them deliver dynamic events and campaigns. For the past 2 years, Nick has been working with SMARTNet Alliance, a member-based organization that is working to advance the transition to Canada's sustainable economy. There, he is the principal coordinator of the SMARTNet Sustainability Showcase, which is going virtual this year on January 30th using a one-of-a-kind event platform. Welcome, Nick. We have 5 questions for you. What climate problem keeps you up at night?
Yeah, thanks so much, Mandy. Just want to thank you for having me on. It's great to be a part of the EnviroCentre. You know, I take a look and see that you guys are doing great things. You know, really happy to be affiliated with the organization, to have you guys as affiliate members of SMARTNet Alliance. I want to give a shout out to your event page as well. So if folks don't know, you've got quite a great event page on your website. I use it daily and weekly to see what webinars are coming up, movie screenings, Zoom calls. So, you know, really invite people to head over to that to check out what's going on. What keeps me up at night? You know, quite a few things. Sometimes I've got to reach for the melatonin and the valerian root if I have a little bit of a sleepless night. But you know, really looking at what our ambitious targets are to reach. You know, now that we're in 2021 and we're, you know, less than 10 years away from 2030, I think the clock is really ticking. Obviously, you know, we're dealing with COVID quite a bit right now, but you know, as we see a light to the end of that tunnel, I think really where we have to go laser focused is into climate change, is into you know, reducing our emissions. You know, if we are to keep the temperature of the planet at a level that can sustain life, this is what we're going to have to really focus on. We're going to have to bring down the greenhouse gases. We're going to have to get into a low carbon economy, and you know, from where we are now, I don't see us getting there unless we, you know, all really buckle down and really make some change. You know, how we transport ourselves, how we live, the buildings that we live in, the buildings that we work in, you know, they all have to be retrofitted. They all have to, you know, kind of really reduce the carbon that they're using, whether it be, you know, throwing in heat pumps or, you know, going to electric vehicles and things like that. So I also wonder, you know, what innovation is still to come. You know, what innovations do we not know about that are going to help us to build this roadmap for the future? So that's something that's kind of neat and you know, fun to work with, especially with our members here at SMARTNet Alliance. They're quite an innovative bunch, whether it be, you know, battery management, battery storage, energy management. You know, we've got members who have an innovative solar siding for your house now. So, you know, if you can't put solar on your roof, you can put it on the side. So, you know, really fun to work with those businesses that are really pushing the envelope on innovation. And I think, you know, if we are going to, you know, make up the ground that we kind of feel like we have, I think it's that innovation piece that's going to really be crucial to getting us there. So the long way around, that's kind of what keeps me up at night, you know, but hopefully I get out there and be active and get cross-country skiing so I can have a good night's sleep.
What is the solution?
I talked a little bit about some of the solutions earlier, but you know, quite simply, I think the solution is to live more sustainably. That's a pretty wide statement, so you know, it might be good to break that down a little bit. So what does that mean? You know, it's a word that's out there, but you know, I think we have to live with using less carbon to heat and cool our homes. You know, less carbon to transport ourselves and our goods. That could mean a rapid switch to electric vehicles. You know, we're seeing some municipalities want to bring in an EV only areas by 2025. Here in Ottawa, we have the Energy Evolution Plan, which suggests an EV only zone by 2028. You know, so right now we're only 7 years away from that. So I'd love to see some of that. You know, when I've been out in California, I've been quite inspired by all the sounds of the electric vehicles zooming by. And also when I was over in Hawaii a couple of years ago, I was quite inspired by all the solar that they have. You know, they've really been able to be resilient and I think that that's the fundamental transformation that we need to look at is, creating a more resilient community. And that can mean, more microgrids, more, solar energy, more renewable energy, more people, using electric vehicles. We're starting to see where, maybe they can start using the batteries for electric vehicles for other things while they're parked. There's a pilot project going on in Toronto for that. So, really interesting. And, so the solutions are many, but, it sort of boils down to really, getting out of the way of that innovation, making sure that we're not living in the past, that we're sort of looking at the future and saying, okay, I think we're a pretty smart species. I think we've kind of painted ourselves into the corner, but there's really nothing we can't do if we put our mind to it. There's the old adage that, there's enough power in the sun for an hour at noon to power the whole planet for a year, right? So I think it's all about tapping into those things and really leading with innovation is the solution.
What's in the way?
Most of us can see that future. Most of us know that's where we need to go, but we kind of struggle with, how do we affect change in our personal lives at a local level? How do we get there? And, quite honestly, I think the status quo is what's in the way. And that's always been in the way of change, right? No matter what you look in history, there's been people who are very attached to the status quo. People are scared of losing what they have. And those in power often want to hold on to that power. And thus they support the status quo, right? So, instead, I think we need a fundamental shift away from carbon and away from things that are not sustainable. And we need to really, support that in our private lives. We've got individual members who are championing heat pumps, right? Getting out there and getting heat pumps. Now, he's got a great story because, when he did want to go switch to a heat pump, he had to field 4 or 5 calls from different HVAC people saying, no, this is not what you want to do. This is a horrible idea. It's going to cost more. And, he did eventually push through and put a heat pump in, but there was so much resistance that I wonder if the everyday citizen would be able to push through that, right? So I think it's really challenging the status quo. It's really, showcasing the early adopters. We've got the 10 or 15% out there who are in electric vehicles, who are, moving to net zero housing. And I think it's all about putting those people in the showcase, spotlight. And, that's something we try to do here at SMARTNet Alliance. Whether it be through our virtual green drinks events, which happen monthly, or, at our sustainability showcase, which we'll talk a little bit about later. What we really want to do is champion those solutions and get that out to people. So I think education is another big piece to the solution. Let's get people educated. A couple of years ago, if you told me about a heat pump, I would have just figured it was, I don't know, something to do with the gym, but now I understand it. And, so knowledge is power, and let's get that knowledge out to people. Let's get excited about educating people about these sustainable solutions. And, let's push those out into the community like EnviroCentre's doing, and SMARTNet Alliance as well.
How can people help?
I think get educated and get informed. Take small steps in your own life. Is it starting to bike to work when you can? Obviously, it's a bit tricky right now unless you have one of those fat bike. But, in a couple of months when the spring comes, maybe it's about dusting your bike off in your garage and saying, okay, if I'm going into the office 5 days a week, I'm going to try to bike 2 or 3 days. And then all of a sudden it becomes, you start feeling guilty if you don't, right? So you kind of have to hold yourself accountable, I think. I've been talking about heat pumps, and I think that those could be a huge solution. Ask questions of your employer about the buildings you work in, so start asking those questions of your landlord. Hey, say these are leaky windows, these are we're losing a lot of energy out of here. So start asking those questions and getting involved. I mean, think about maybe getting into an electric vehicle. Recently, Plug and Drive and the Electric Vehicle Council of Ottawa were sponsoring, as well as EnviroCentre, we're sponsoring a mobile education trailer that was parked outside IKEA. And, I was able to get in and do my first test drive of an electric vehicle. article. There's a bit of a video on the SMARTNet Alliance YouTube page that you can check out, but that was pretty neat, pretty eye-opening for me, and definitely it's on my radar to upgrade into that. I'd say go to events and support causes that create change in the community. Obviously all the events are virtual now, but there's tons of them. I did mention your guys' website, so lots to do there, and showing up is a big part of how you can help. A lot of changes happening at the local level, and we see that starting in Ottawa. So, really support that change. And, as our friend Gandhi would say, be that change and really put that out into the world. And I think that, the more we can sort of see people doing that, somebody sees their neighbor get solar, puts a heat pump in, it sort of starts to spread like a bit of a wildfire. So, understand that, change happens at a local level, and, get yourself out there and be that change.
What is the good future?
Often we think of the future, and sometimes we think we're kind of nervous, but I think the good future is a place where we live in balance with nature. I think we give back as much as we take, where we harness renewable sources of energy, and where we live in buildings and dwellings that are net zero in energy, so they produce as much as they take. The good future is a place of community. It's a place of connection. It's a place where people can truly thrive, and there are no food deserts or oppression or, all those types of things. So I really see that. And, I know a lot of people in the community do. And, I think we have to rally together to create that future, because it's not a given. It's not, hey, this future is gonna happen. We have to fight for it. And, I would say to people, look where you can start fighting the good fight. If it's not in your career, maybe it's in your personal life. Maybe it's volunteering. Maybe it's doing something that is out of your comfort zone. So, really strive to create that future, and, hopefully together we can get there. I'll just do a quick shout out for our virtual sustainability showcase. So that happens on January 30th. So you will get a chance, everybody, to sign up. It's going to be quite the event. Obviously, SMARTNet Alliance, we weren't able to do our regular showcase in the fall due to COVID. So what we were able to do is to put together an interactive online platform where folks are going to have a chance to come and, talk about sustainability from the comfort of their home. It's a free event. You do need to register to get the link. We've got two distinct stages. One stage is called the Sustainable Solutions stage. We've got talks about electric vehicles, passive homes, the Energy Evolution program. We've got Rob Barnes from Ecology Ottawa joining us to do a State of Sustainability stage. We've also got another area, an Ask the Experts area. So we've got some of our members talking about do-it-yourself solar. We've got heat pumps, home energy innovation, and as well as that, we've got a live exhibitor hall. So we've got 20 different organizations and businesses who will have their virtual booths. So you'll really be able to surf around, check out all these different companies and organizations, what they're doing, talk to them in their booth when they're there. And we've also got an electric vehicle area sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Council of Ottawa. They'll be holding different talks throughout the day. So you'll be able to surf in there, talk about electric vehicles. And then to end the day, we've got an hour of networking on different topics. So that all happens Saturday, January 30th. It starts 11 a.m. Eastern. It's going to go till 5. So lots of chances to talk about sustainability. I know, Mandy, you're going to put the link in there to register, and really want everybody to join us there for a great day of sustainability.
Thanks for joining us today. Before we sign off, we have asked our guests to share one last interesting Enviro fact to ponder. Here's what Nick wants you to know. Over half the homes in Canada were built before 1980, and that means we need to get busy retrofitting and renovating them to increase their energy efficiency. Thank you again for joining us, Nick. This was EnviroCentre's Green Room.